We're going to be giving you some wide receivers that are a little bit deeper into the draft that we like. Some of these wide receivers drafted in rounds 2 and 3, maybe even that trickle into round 4 here. So we're going to be going with 3 wide receivers that are my favorite, that I think are below average draft position right now. And so the first one we're going to go with is Rashee Rice. He is the 8th ranked wide receiver behind some wide receivers that I'm kind of really confused on, but which we can talk a little bit more in depth at a different time. But 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. Second round draft pick for Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's what you need to know. I get that Sky Moore was a first round draft capital last year. And Sky Moore is extremely talented and just didn't fit right. You have Kadarius Toney, which I don't believe in the Kadarius Toney hype at all. No Juju. You have Kelsey, who is getting aging, I think. I think he's aging. I don't know. Maybe he's not aging. Maybe it's all the fight for your right to party type things. But Rashee Rice, 23 years old, out of SMU. I think he's worth the gamble at number 8 to be on one of the best high-powered offenses. Yeah, I mean, he's not a small stature any means. A lot of these wide receivers, when you talk about Josh Downs or Zay Flowers, or a wide receiver we're going to be talking about at the end here, a lot of them are like 160, 170, 180 pounds. You have a 200-pound Rashee Rice, which in this type of offense, he could be somebody that explodes. He had 96 catches for 1,355 yards and 10 touchdowns. You're talking about a guy who had a really good burst score. He had some good metrics at the combine. And so you add that with his draft capital in the second round, I like the chance. I mean, I think that one of these wide receivers are going to hit. At some point, you have to think that it's going to be Rashee Rice. And so, again, we're playing Dynasty. We're playing the long game. That even if it's not when he's 23, what happens when he's 24, 25? He's still going to be on a Patrick Mahomes offense. You're still probably not going to lose a ton of value because of that, because you know Patrick Mahomes is going to be there for the half a century. And so when you have that, you're going to have somebody that, even if he doesn't perform in 48 months, or 24 months, not 48 months, 24 months, 2 years, you'll still have an owner that will go, hey, I'll give you 80% of that value that you drafted him in because I still believe in Patrick Mahomes. And unless he already hits, then you already win. So number 10 is Jalen Hyatt, one of my favorite kind of boom players. If you are a team that needs a kind of boom, like a deep threat, Jalen Hyatt is your guy. He's 6 feet tall, 176, so same height as Rashee Rice, but a little bit thinner in frame, but explosive. We're talking about super fast, a great, basically 9-route runner here. He had 67 catches for 12, 67, and 15. Everyone knows about his ginormous game against Alabama. Yes. Well, we're not even going to talk about it. Burst and 40-yard dash, over 90 percentile here. So a player that, again, has a lot of speed. And so think kind of more of the Deshaun Jackson, just kind of streak route type of player. DK Metcalf when he was in college type, but DK Metcalf was a different physical freak. Jalen Hyatt goes to the New York Giants and is a 3rd round, 10th overall in the 3rd round draft capital. And so I like that position here for Jalen Hyatt. I think that Jalen Hyatt could be the alpha into that group. I mean, there's not much else that the target share can go to. So where are you going to go? You might as well go to Jalen Hyatt if you're going to have a lot of Saquon Barkley, a lot of short stuff to some of these other wide receivers and the tight ends that they brought, like Daniel Bellinger and stuff. Then I think that Jalen Hyatt is good to be able to break the cap off the defense, something that they weren't able to do last year as much. Darius Slayton did a little bit of that, but I think Jalen Hyatt can do it to a better degree. The next one is Nathaniel. I'm just kidding. Tank, because his name's Tank. Let's just go with Tank Dell. And so Tank Dell, again, Houston, go say from Houston to Houston. He's just staying in Houston. He's he was a 3rd round pick. 5'8", 165. Size says bleh. But he goes to a team that desperately needs wide receiver help. And so I think of this player, you look at back-to-back years at SMU. SMU. I'm now thinking Rashee Rice. The back-to-back years at Houston, he had 90 catches, 13, 29, and 12, 109 catches for almost 1,400 yards and 17 touchdowns. So back-to-back years, he had a really productive college season here. And so I really like Tank Dell. The size is a huge concern. 5'8", 165. He could end up being in the molds of Rondale Moore where it just doesn't work out at this next level. But at 12, you're taking not a gamble of being wide receiver. Gosh, what was Rondale Moore? 4 at that point? Chase, Devontae, Bateman, him and Elijah. So he was 4 or 5. So 4 or 5 versus now you're talking about 12. And a team that doesn't have an alpha. They don't have any great wide receivers there. They gave away Brandon Cooks. The chances that Tank Dell will get a lot of playing time is tremendously high. And so we still have, I can't think of why his name is off the top of my tongue that's battling through cancer. Why can't I think of the Alabama wide receiver? You get what I'm saying? He is still there. If he comes back from the cancer issues, man, apparently after a year of not even playing football, you just disappear off my radar. But you get what I'm saying with him. Tank Dell, I think, has opportunity to become a decent wide receiver. John Mechie, I don't know why that just popped up in my head, but yep, that's his name. And so they could definitely be hyper targeted in this offense. Again, with a rookie quarterback, there's always definitely some limited upside. But at 12, again, I mean, you're looking at a lot of wide receivers that may not even hit the field. So you have to take some of these boom players, or you might end up getting just a player that just ends up being, honestly, nothing. And we want to try to avoid those players. So Tank Dell, I think he's a good boom enough to try to draft him here. 12th overall wide receiver. All right, this is Marcus Dynasty Bats. Peace out. We'll see you again soon.